There you go, mate.
Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. We like to have different opinions. I really enjoy talking to you.
I like talking to everyone. Some people don't like talking to me. I'm glad you want to talk to me. You're all right.
Thanks, mate. Thanks so much.
Good on you. Let's go for a walk. This time I have a positive story for you. At one of the protests for Hong Kong here in Melbourne, a Chinese mainlander approached me as a fan of my work. Now, he's obviously followed me for a while before these Hong Kong protests even begun. Our interaction gives me hope because this mainland Chinese man was willing to listen and was open to the idea that his government manipulate the Chinese people. His parting words as he hugged me were the most powerful. We're allowed to have different opinions, he said to me. And he's right. We can have differing opinions about any issues as long as we're willing to engage. So I hope every mainland Chinese person watches this video so they learn to be like him. Because loving your fellow human does not mean you have to agree with everything they believe. So please, spread this far and wide. Share it with everyone you know. Let's get mainland China watching this. Walking around. Bye-bye. All good?
No, I'd just like to stay here for a bit longer with you. Actually, I'm a big fan of yours.
And you don't mind my Chinese stances on this?
Yeah, well...
I'm not against it. I just think that the mainlanders need to
I totally understand
be open.
you. I totally understand you, but, you know...
There you go, mate. You all right? Boys all right? Behaving yourselves?
We bought our own tank division.
Good on you, boys.
There you go, buddy. I totally understand where you're coming from, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think there could be I don't know what the truth is, to be honest. So maybe they're making stuff, or maybe just my government, the people that aren't believing, that's just probably hiding something from us. But you know, this is just how.
Well, you got to think about it. If you don't, do you have freedom of press in China? Is there a freedom of press? A real freedom of press? Or
I'm sorry to admit, but I don't think so.
Okay, and that's where all problems start. Because if you look at, for example, the Hong Kong movement, the protests in Hong Kong, you see across the board media, free press around the world, who are reporting on it, are free to go whichever way they want. The only ones that aren't is the Chinese state broadcasters, correct? Now the Chinese will come out and tell you, they will just repeat, they will parrot what they've seen on state broadcast, where everyone else has the option to listen to any media outlet, any source. Now most, which go from far left to far right, they all kind of agree on Hong Kong, because what the Hong Kongers are asking is reasonable, and you can't. I know what the arguments that a lot of the mainlanders are putting forth. They're all the same, and most of them don't even know the 5 demands, and they're saying they kind of leap. They go, no, it's not about 5 demands. It's about they want independence, and there's a small minority that do, but the majority don't. And it's these leaps, which is very easy. If you have control over your media and you feed them this one narrative and everybody's parroting it and everybody believes it, then they walk around here. They're looking at me like, oh, you just don't understand because you haven't heard our side of it, which I have heard it. I've heard it from everyone. But you need to actually think about, for a second, listen to what they're actually asking. That's all it is. I think if most mainlanders had your way of coming into it, I think also you need to be able to listen and open to it. I think a lot of them got angry just standing here because you feel like it's an attack on your country, but it's actually, the majority are not. I think they're angry at the CCP, which should be okay.
Yeah. Sorry, can you tell me what the 5 demands are?
Okay, so you got the first one is the withdrawal of the extradition bill, which has been withdrawn. So, and that was the main one. That was the one that kicked everything off. Then you've got the independent inquiry into the police brutality. All the protesters to be released. You've got what else have we got? That's 3. You've got the what's the final one? The wording universal suffrage, and there's one more. And the word writers to be taken out of the protests. Out of the protests. Yeah, they basically use the word writers so that they can come in heavy-handed. Now, I've been there, I've watched it. It's not saying that there's a tiny minority that are causing trouble, but it's in response. So all those demands, they're not unreasonable. And if it was the opposite way around, most Chinese would agree to it if it was about them. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think if you take away the idea that it's about independence, which it isn't, it's not about independence. I think most mainlanders, if they were able to listen to it and just listen to it, take away their defensiveness about it being an attack on them as a people.
Like the unity.
And just look at it like they're your brothers. They're just my brothers or my cousins that are asking for what the rest of the world would consider pretty reasonable. See, to a lot of mainlanders, it might not sound reasonable because freedom is not as accessible. All right, we're going to walk around. It's good to meet you.
Can I get a...
There you go, mate.
Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. We like to have different opinions. I really enjoy talking to you.
I like talking to everyone. Some people don't like talking to me. I'm glad you want to talk to me. You all right?
Thanks, mate. Thanks so much.
Good on you. Let's go for a walk. So if you support the work we do here at TR News, if you support the fact that we report the stories the mainstream media refuses to tell you, please consider supporting us financially. We do not have big communist China support funding. We don't have George Soros. We rely solely on your generosity. So please, tr.news/support. And we'll keep doing what we do.